Hi, welcome to this edition of Podzone, and I'm here with my buddy George Nassif. Sometimes he says Nassif, Nassif, I don't know yet.
Depends what country I'm in.
I call him Nassif, and I don't know if he likes it or not. But we've been talking about the new release of the movie Hungry for Change, and we'd just like to record that, so take it away, George.
Well, I've been going back to the website where they did the premiere, and I've watched it now 3 times. I've downloaded it, decided that I want to be able to be reminded as often as possible about there's so many people talking in this movie about positive changes you can make in your life to feel better and look better and be healthy.
Right.
And there's 12 prominent people in the health industry in this film that all have a ton of good things to say. And I highly recommend downloading the movie
and watching it
for sure.
Yeah, you just have to register. Registration's for free, and then they send you the link, and they must have your IP or something. Because if you get logged out or want to see it on another computer, you just put in the name you gave them and your email or something. I forget, and you can watch it wherever you're at. So
exactly, your first name and your email, and you can watch it now. This premiere is going on until the 31st of March.
Yeah, so just another 4 days.
Some special deals there too, as far as if you want to download the DVD or to buy the DVD, and they have a great recipe book for different types of salads and juices and different things you can do to change your diet, to change your life.
Well, that's one of the things I found about the movie is it was very good in theory, and listening to everyone talk, and I like the dramatization with the woman, and we'll get into more of that in a minute, but they never really specifically said what to eat. So it was great that they put out this recipe book and stuff to eat the way that they were disclaiming. Yeah, that they hinted on some foods, yeah, eat some vegetables or whatever, but for the average person, sure, I want to do this, but okay, it's breakfast time. What exactly do I eat right now? And so that was great.
Yeah, I did go to the website, which is another offshoot of this, and that what they are doing is giving you a menu for the day that you follow, and you're doing some juicing, you're drinking in the morning. They start out by having you drink a solid 16 ounces to 20 ounces of water in the morning, plus a cup of tea. Yeah,
everyone's got their water bottle.
Very good. You need your water bottle. They have you juicing at least twice a day, some type of green juice.
Yeah, and I'm not doing that. I'm just eating green vegetables.
One good thing about the juicing is that it does flush the toxins out of your system quicker, and it helps you eliminate the toxins even through the cells of your fat and different things like this, the micronutrients, the green veggies, chlorophyll. And I learned why my Russian friends like to make parsley and cilantro salads with tomatoes. They just take a whole bunch of parsley, chop it up really fine, a bunch of cilantro, the whole thing, chop it up really fine. You've got these piles of greens, and you add some tomatoes to it, like Roma tomatoes. And onions, green onions, scallions, you chop up real fine. Mm-hmm. Mix it all up, and you've got this beautiful green chlorophyll-filled salad, and it gives you a really good breath.
And can you eat cilantro? See, I can't stand cilantro, so that's...
When I mix it with other things, yeah, I love it. It's really tasty. But again, parsley is pretty strong, too. Can you eat parsley?
Yeah.
When you mix it all with cucumber, for example, you dice up the cucumber, you dice up the tomatoes. When you mix all the ingredients together, you just take a lemon and squeeze the lemon on it, and you have great flavor with just the lemon. You don't even need to add olive oil, really, because the lemon itself gives it such a nice flavor. And then let this sit for about 10 minutes in your bowl in the fridge, cool. And I add a little bit, like a half of an avocado. And when you mix the avocado together with the lemon, and then you mix the salad all together with this, you have a really low-calorie salad. It's about 150 calories.
I want to say something about avocados for a minute.
Yeah.
People will get on you and say, oh, avocados are really fattening. Well, I got news for them. avocados are great when you're replacing donuts and ice cream.
Yeah. First of all, half of an avocado that you'd use, for example, to make this dressing, to make a sandwich, is only 150 calories. It's actually less calories than the meat you'd put on a sandwich, and it's less calories than bread. Or about the same as, when you take 2 pieces of bread that we usually eat today that are in the markets, those are about 120 calories a piece. So you got almost, you got 280 calories or 240 calories in bread anyway.
Right.
So just take that balance of omega-3s, the vitamin E, all the good things that are in avocados, and it far outweighs the health issues of a piece of bread or carbos.
I've been eating bananas, very high in sugar and whatever, raisins, watermelons, cantaloupe, and losing weight.
You're going to lose weight because you're still taking in less calories. Watermelon has very few calories.
Right, and people say sugar. I said, well, I'm addicted to candy bars all day long. So why are you going to pick on me if I want to eat 2 bananas? You know?
What you need in your body is nutrition.
Right.
And people don't realize you can eat tons of vegetables and get tons of nutrition with very low calories, and you're going to lose weight, but you're going to get nutrition. One thing the movie stated very clearly is that Americans are fat because they're malnourished. They're full of calories with very low nutrition.
That's a good point. People are overweight and eating a lot, but they're not eating well. So they're eating a lot and they're gaining weight, but they're malnourished.
What good does it do to have this little menu with all I'm going to do is cut my portions in half? You're still eating the same junk food. I'll have half of a McDonald's burger and half the French fries and split them with my buddy, and half the drink. No, that's not going to do it. You're still putting garbage in your body because you're putting too much of this, what's called refined foods, refined carbohydrates. The modified cornstarch and corn syrup is addicting. It's full of sugar and it's not healthy. There's no good food value in it. And most of what people drink and eat these days, if you go to any store, all the shelves are lined with garbage processed foods. You have to search out the real, the aisles in the store could be really small. You could have an aisle of vegetables and an aisle of fruits. And you could have some grains, whole grain foods, and be done with it.
Well, okay, at my local Walmart, there's aisles and aisles and aisles and aisles of food, okay? And they even have one aisle in the middle of all these aisles that's like the specialty aisle, like for the seasonal stuff or whatever.
Right.
Well, in a grocery store, they should have aisles and aisles and aisles of food for regular people that don't care, and all they need is one aisle of nutritious food. Just put it there. Here's the nutritious cereal right here, the nutritious vegetables right here. And you only need to go down one aisle instead of trying to search out and read every single label in the store.
Well, even the so-called Whole Foods and health food stores have a certain number of junk foods that are there, the snacks, and all those things, claiming that they're, healthy snacks. But when it comes down to it, you have to read the ingredients on the label. And people don't have time to read the ingredients. It's not when they're shopping. They want to get in and out in 20 minutes. And the problem with that is you're buying all this junk food that you wouldn't eat yourself, but you're feeding it to your kids.
Right.
I had a conversation with a friend of mine about that, and, I wouldn't eat that, but I'll give it to him. And I said, well, why are you giving it to your son or your daughter when you yourself are not going to eat that?
Because it's a matter of time and convenience, too. I mean...
Well, it's also about, we do anything we can for our kids. And the other day, a friend of mine pulled up. We were going somewhere. Oh, I got to stop and get a cupcake for my boy. I promised him a cupcake. We go to this cupcake place, and it's a glorified cupcake. It's $3 or $4 for one cupcake. And the icing on it was bigger than the actual cake itself. He peels the cupcake, and he starts in on the icing, and it's just all the sugar. All this poison. And I said, oh my God, you're feeding this kid a ton of poison. That's pure sugar and fat, lard. That's what icing is. It's lard and sugar.
Right.
Pure. That's all it is. Crisco and sugar. Fat and sugar.
And then they expect the kid to be able to sit down in school.
Yeah, right.
Listen, and not run around.
Right. And all we're going to do is sit on the in front of the TV doing video games.
Right.
And you know, all they do is moving the joystick in the video games now. And boy, you really, I thought about this the other day. I said, what is going to happen when they have to get a job? You know, who are they going to work for? All they know how to do is work a joystick and, you know, push buttons.
Well, did you see the movie WALL-E?
No.
Oh, see, WALL-E is about we destroyed our planet, so the people had to go up into space, and it's a cartoon, but everything's taken care of for them, so they actually end up in the spacecraft being in lazy boy chairs on conveyor belts to get wherever they want, drinking their milkshake drink. And so they all become huge.
Sure.
They do eventually make it back to Earth, but anyways, that's what it is. People sitting around and just putting on the pounds.
It's really sad because we have no energy. Then we get sick. Then we go to the doctor, and the doctor says there's no cure for you except for stop eating the junk food. And they warn us over and over. We don't listen until we're in the emergency room, like I was. And I've got a enlarged spleen and large liver and all these issues that because I'm full of toxic stuff and I'm fully infested with fat in my organs and all these other places. We only look at the fat on our skin and we say, oh, you know, I'm really strong. I've got this big muscle, you know, and I've got like no flab here. Well, you get the flab's right in front of you.
Right.
Look down and to the left and right, but forget looking at your arms and legs. We all got arms and legs that are thinner than the rest of the middle, you know.
Yeah. But
the problem is, it's that blanket of fat that's wrapped around the outside. It doesn't tell the whole story. You could go, oh yeah, I'm losing weight. See, there's less to grab here. Well, what's underneath, you can see in a CAT scan, and it shows the chest walls, and it shows all the organs and slices, and you can see all these things like the enlarged spleen and liver. It's only supposed to be 10.5 centimeters, and it was almost 17.6. So that's a lot of large growth, and what happens is we get inflammation from all this processed foods.
Right.
Because they're toxic, they're poisons. We're putting sugar in our body, poisoning ourselves, and then we have to get rid of it by producing more insulin and producing our body shot, and we end up with diabetes. We can't produce enough insulin to match the sugar
intake. Yeah.
So what do? You stop eating the sugar. I had 5 or 6 people ask me, how did you do it? How did you reverse diabetes? You stop eating sugar, processed foods in general. Don't buy frozen TV dinners. Don't eat any garbage food that isn't growing out of the ground fresh. And if you can't find organic, grow your own. Get some pots and grow tomatoes. You know, everybody's got a balcony, at least in an apartment, to grow some vegetables. And maybe you can't grow a lemon tree, but you can, you know, at least get started eating.
You can grow a tomato vine. I love tomatoes. You can grow a tomato vine easily any place.
Yeah, and you can live off 1 or 2 plants. You know, you don't have to grow a ton of them. And the same thing with bell peppers. You can grow in a pot. You know, little things like this. I eat a lot of bell peppers and different things. You know, when I make up my chopped salad. And you can live easily as a vegetarian, get all the protein you need. We talked before about things like beans and lentils that give you twice as much protein as beef. We talked about the omega-3s and stuff. Somebody said, well, you can't eat too much salmon, it's so high in calories. I said, well, first of all, it's loaded with nutrition in a small portion with small calories. I can eat a 3-ounce or 4-ounce piece of salmon, not an 8-ounce, but a 4-ounce, and I can get all the omega-3s and nutrition I need from that. I don't need to eat beef.
So what was your favorite part of the movie?
Well, there's a lot of things. I took a lot of notes, and as I looked down, I thought about how it talked about people don't realize they're eating 150 pounds of sugar in a year. 22 teaspoons a day on the average.
The guy just dumps the wheelbarrow full of sugar out and says, this is what you're
Jamie Oliver coming out and dumping the wheelbarrow so effective. This is how much sugar you eat in a year. Well, let me just show it to you. He just dumps the wheelbarrow on the stage. That was one of his movies, by the way, that they took the excerpt from. And I was really, blown away by that. I said, oh my God. We wouldn't just sit there and grab a teaspoon and start, eating from the pile, would we?
Yeah, 23.
But people do, because they're drinking sugared sodas. They're drinking sugar for this, sugar for that, orange juice. The juices do have a lot of sugar, and you do have to watch how much you juice because it's concentrated. And I was eating the other day. I looked on the Green Machine, for example.
Right.
Has about 28 grams of sugar in each 8-ounce cup. That's a lot of sugar, but it's not refined sugar. It's sugar from live vegetables that have been juiced. It's a difference in the type of sugar it is. However, you still don't want to have that much sugar. 2 or 3 of those a day would be way more sugar than you need.
Right.
One a day is okay. You're still going to get the micronutrients from it. But I say take that juice and forget it. Don't buy anything in a bottle. Make your own. And use a lot of greens. They tell you over and over again what to put in these greens by looking at the, on the Hungry for Change recipe book. And most of it is not sugared stuff. You take Granny Smith apples instead of the sweeter ones. You use celery, which really has some salt in it, but no sugar to speak of. Carrots can have a lot of sugar too, so just don't use a ton of them. And use things like spinach. Spinach is really good.
Well, I like the storyline of the girl in there. They did, but besides all this information, I did like that they did make it a little movie with the girl working and wanted her boss or whoever that guy was in the elevator all the time to pay such attention to her.
Right.
Because she was low on herself and
low self-esteem,
little weight, and then she started eating correctly, and finally had the confidence to approach him, and went, wow, now I have the confidence, I feel good, and I look good. Now I don't need him to pay attention to me.
That was a really excellent message in that.
Yeah, that was.
She was already a beautiful girl to begin with, but she didn't think she was. When she started feeling better because she was eating better, then her confidence rose to a point where she really felt good about herself. When you feel good about yourself, you're more confident. It's just a natural thing. I haven't lost all the weight I want to yet. I got 30 or 40 pounds to go. I'm in the middle of my thing, but I know that eventually I'm going to get there.
Right.
I'm doing this. I've done this now for 4 or 5 months, and when you have a lot of weight to lose, it's hard to keep going sometimes. But my confidence level's risen considerably because I feel better. I'm not sick in bed. I'm walking 4 and 5 miles a day the last couple of days, and I still had energy to spare. And I'm power walking now where I couldn't get out of the house and walk 20 feet without turning around and coming back. I was exhausted going up the stairs. Now I walk up the stairs 2 by 2. I'm actually running up the stairs, and I'm not falling over dizzy when I get to the top. The other day I just ran up the stairs and I go, wow, that feels good. I'm hopping.
Yeah.
Now, when you're 35 pounds lighter, you can do that. But I'm still not a lightweight. I still weigh 215 pounds.
Well, I'm glad I watched a couple of these movies and I caught myself I was 20 pounds overweight only, and heading for 25 pounds overweight really quick. Mm-hmm. But I watched that first movie with Joe.
Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead with Joe Cross.
Yeah, I watched that movie and went, well, I can easily be heading for this right now the way that I'm eating.
If you let it go and keep going out to dinner every week and ordering the wrong kind of things.
So I've lost half my weight in a month, which is really good. But I wasn't that overweight. So, but there is a difference. I mean, there is a big difference.
The first thing is what I noticed that girl. She looks in the mirror after she's been juicing, and she likes what she sees. Her skin's better. She's looking at her face. She feels better about herself. So how do you feel? Do you feel better than you did a month ago?
Totally. I mean, and then little things happen. You realize I had to go into my wife's office yesterday, and doing a little work for them in there. And when I leave, I instantly get a text message from my wife. Her secretary says, "Why does your husband look so good?" You see, and that's it. And that's only 12 pounds lighter, and people notice. That you come in.
The shade of your skin. They talked about that in the movie about not the laws of attraction, but just the fact that people are attracted to healthy people. And when you look at yourself and you feel better because you've been eating better, you begin to look better because you're happy. Your smile's bigger. You don't go around bummed out all day. Right.
You got a little giddy up in your step. Yeah.
It's a whole different person. It's like, wow, where did you come from? When I went over yesterday, and I met with a buddy of mine that saw me when I was just getting out of the hospital in February. And he saw me yesterday. We met over to talk about his website that I'm building for him. And he said, "You look so different than you did a month ago. You're just beaming." And I said, what are you doing? I said, "Well, I'm eating right. I've lost weight, of course." And he's gained weight. He's bigger than he was. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "Well, I'm not doing what you're doing." I said, "Well, then maybe you should take a look." Go watch this movie and learn a few things.
Yeah, about 4.5 years ago when I moved into where I live now,
yeah,
my neighbors are all 20 years, 15 to 20 years younger than me.
mm-hmm.
And they would point out my tummy. At times when we're out there in the street messing around or whatever, you know, guys make little comments about my tummy.
Yeah.
And they're all younger than me, and I'll say, you wait. And then 5 years later, I got a fireman that lives across the street from me. Talking to him yesterday. He's got his belly.
Where's that from?
My next door neighbor has got his belly. And I kind of noticed because we were out there all talking, you know, shooting the, you know, just talking while we're out front of our houses. And they like all of a sudden looked at me and goes, where's yours? And so I told them what I've been doing for a month. And I think one of them is going to start thinking, you know, they're going to do it. Yeah.
It's all about feeling better first, because I think that's where you get your confidence from. And I have not been this weight that I can remember since about 5-6 years ago when I was working in New Zealand all the time, and I was buff dude. I was doing all this construction work every day, 10 hours a day, working construction, building, you know, framing walls and building houses and stuff, buildings, commercial construction actually. And I have not felt this good in ages. So I went to put this, friend of mine wanted a roof put on her chicken coop. It had that corrugated plastic top on it. And I tore that off. So I went and bought the lumber. I got some sheets of plywood and some roofing materials and things, and we tore out the old roof, and I nailed on the big roof. And I was blown away at how quickly, in 2.5-3 hours time, I had the plywood installed, screwed in place on the top of this roof. I've been going up and down the ladder. I've been lifting over my head these 4x8 sheets of plywood, which are, you know, they're 60 pounds each. And people are going, well, that's 60 pounds, that's no big deal. I said, well, it is when you're pushing it over your head and putting it up on a roof.
Yeah, a bunch of them.
You know, and and then the rolled roofing, I put it on my shoulder and I'm walking up the ladder and getting up to the top of the roof. And again, it's no huge deal. But the way I was so sick before, I could never do that. I couldn't go up a ladder without falling over dizzy. Well, here I am getting this rolled roofing on and you know, nailing that in. And I was all proud of myself. It only took me 4 or 5 hours to do the whole job, which I probably wouldn't have been able to do a month ago in my condition. And the lady was like, wow, you did that fast. It's beautiful, you know. Can you fix this too? And the next thing you know, I was doing a bunch of other work. But that's what it's all about, really. It's about feeling good.
Getting healthy.
Feeling confident, looking better, and knowing that you're healthy because you're eating the right things that clean out all the toxins in your body. I was full of toxins. And these toxins, a lot of them get stored in your fat. And then as you burn the fat and you cleanse your body with the vegetables, all these toxins flow out with it. And there's only 2 ways for things to go. They got to go through the pores of your skin, or they got to go out when you eliminate. And that's it. That's all there is.
Yeah.
You know, and you can spit the stuff up.
Or you can go to the doctor and get liposuction if you want.
Well, and then I guess they're to
pay thousands and thousands of dollars.
But you know, you can look at your tongue.
Yeah.
And my tongue used to be covered in white.
Yeah.
Still has a little bit. And it was a little scalloped on the edges. I went to see a person that does Oriental medicine, and they did some acupuncture for me, and they did assessment on my body. And they looked at my tongue and said, your tongue is scalloped on the edges. That means your spleen is not happy. You know, the chi in your spleen is not happy. There's not enough movement there. Something's clogging you up. And they're right. I got the CAT scan done in the hospital. The spleen had a cyst in it that was about 2 centimeters, you know, tip of your finger, I suppose. Not a big spleen cyst, but big enough to bother you.
Yeah.
But why does your body make these things? It makes them because there's a foreign object in there they want to get rid of. There's some kind of tissue that doesn't belong there. And so they told me that I needed to get on a good diet, this, you know, vegetables, and clean out my system. So I've been doing that. My tongue's looking better. I also noticed that my eyes were bloodshot quite a bit. There's problems there. You can tell if a person's healthy, you can tell exactly how healthy they are by looking in their eyes and seeing how white their eyeballs are and how pink their tongue is and if it's the right color. Mine's actually pale, and they said, you have digestive issues. We got to get on that and fix it. So it's going to be interesting to see how I progress over the next 6 months of treatment with acupuncture and eating vegetarian diet. I bet I'll be a whole different looking person in 6 months.
Yeah, well, March 2012 was a great month for me, and I'm going to keep it up through April coming up here and see how I am into May, but hopefully I'll have it all off here in another month, 6 weeks.
Well, and the good thing is you keep going with the right diet. You don't go back to the old food.
Right, well, that was what I was going to say. I had told my wife, I said, okay, I'm pushing 200 pounds. When I get on this scale and it actually weighs 189, under 190 instead of under 200, I'm going to eat my treat that I love, my drumstick ice cream. And now that I've gotten there and I can have my reward, I don't want it. I have no interest in eating that ice cream cone now, that drumstick.
There you go.
Because I don't want to slow down what I'm doing, because I want to lose another 10 pounds.
Yeah, ice cream is one thing that as soon as you eat it, you're putting it on your body and it doesn't go off. It's one of those things that I know as soon as I eat this, whatever these calories are, that's a week that I'm not going to lose a pound.
Yeah.
That's basically going to sit in my body, because you know your body doesn't eliminate all the junk all at the same time. There's things that take longer to digest. Obviously, meats take days to digest when vegetables take hours, and you get the nutrition from vegetables right away because you're chewing them and you're choosing vegetables as you chew it. So you're getting that nutrition immediately, but other things take longer. When you eat pasta and things like that, they basically clog you up. It's a refined food. Buy whole wheat pasta and then eat that instead. You know, it's going to be healthier for you and it's going to go through your body quicker and be the right choice, but don't eat as much pasta. I had a friend that exchanged pasta with bean sprouts. You know, you buy the Chinese bean sprouts.
Right.
But if you want to put your sauce on those, and I thought, that's crazy. They're crunchy.
How can you eat? That's not enough to eat, though.
I just thought, well, what did I do? Why not try it?
Yeah, all
Bean
right.
sprouts they're a lot more healthy. There's no calories in bean sprouts. You can eat them all day and never gain an ounce, you know.
Right.
But it actually tasted pretty good. It was interesting. But I like crunchy things.
Well, we're running over for time as usual, so let's wrap up. Anything? I think everyone should go out and. Do you know the website? Is it just hungerforchange.com or hungerforchange.org?
Hungryforchange.tv, free worldwide online premiere.
Okay, hungryforchange.tv.
Right.
And everyone should jump aboard, that's for sure. I mean, whether you've got 100 pounds to lose or 10 pounds to lose, it's all about your health.
Or you just want to be healthy and learn how to eat the right foods.
Yeah, if you just want to feel good and be healthy. Yeah.
You know, stay away from processed foods and the refined foods. Refined sugar is the #1 killer. It's just as addicting as alcohol. Matter of fact, they're linking refined sugar with alcoholics, saying that a lot of people now, if your kids are raised on sugar, too much sugar as young kids, they are more likely to drink later on, drink alcohol and possibly have problems. So you just don't know. You don't know what you're doing until the damage is done and it's too late.
Yeah. Well, thank you, George. We've been trying to get together here for a week, and we finally did. So thanks to George Nassif, and I'm Bill Manold. Until next time. Bye-bye.